FOIA Exemption 7A protects from disclosure records compiled for law enforcement purposes, the release of which could reasonably be expected to interfere with enforcement activities. There seems to be an ongoing criminal investigation into fails to deliver for the first half of October. I know plenty of you guys have seen my videos that we have not been reported or at least shown from the SEC the first half of FTDs for October. In fact, we actually got the second half before the first half. Now this is an FOIA request by a shareholder which indicates the government's inability to provide FTD records for October 1st to 15th, 2023 due to an ongoing investigation. The remaining 591 pages are being withheld in their entirety. What is going on, guys? Lottery Stocks here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Yesterday was a rough day, so I'm sorry I didn't get to upload. But today we have a video for you guys, and today was also a rough day because I was having computer problems. Overall, just not the best luck. Either way, we have a lot of stuff to cover in today's video, so make sure to hit the like button on this video, hit that subscribe button, and I'm hoping that the screen is normal. If it's not and I'm recording with like half the screen, I had to reset my OBS player, and if it's not right, I'll work with that later for the next video upload. But hopefully it's right. Overall, guys, let's get into the video. Hit that like button. Get this video to 1,000 likes. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of what's happening with Bitpanda. Bitpanda deleting cross posts on their Twitter feed about AMC swap contracts being passed off as one-to-one stock allocation. Crime to facilitate false AMC share locates, and now trying to cover their tracks. Bitpanda, basically like FTX, is doing the same exact thing. Check this out. Product name, AMC Entertainment Holdings Class AA token. This product is an over-the-counter derivative that enables direct and one-to-one participation in the following underlying asset: AMC Entertainment Holdings Class A. Now this proves that futures can be illegally used as fake share locate short for hedge funds by Bitpanda's token. Explained, if they're holding the share in their depot, they can issue a token. They can then sell the share without taking the futures contract, aka token, away from the token holder. Rinse and repeat equals endless share locates from Bitpanda's depot that a hedge fund can buy in order to provide as a share locate to another broker dealer to cover, but not close a short position, thus keeping the cost to borrow artificially and illegally suppressed. So basically, route shares off exchange over the counter, then settle them in Germany with rolling token contracts via perpetual swap/futures. Well, not only is there an investigation into the entirety of the fails to deliver, but remember, they are investigating transparency as well, and there is also an ongoing investigation into short sellers. But not only those two, as well as the swaps, which we recently talked about, SEC adopts Dodd-Frank rule on clearing agency conflicts of interest, adopting new rules to mitigate conflict of interest for security-based swap clearing agencies, short sale data transparency, and mandating security-based swap execution facilities register with the agency, yada yada yada. So there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of investigations. Maybe this is exactly what we need. Maybe this is the black swan that we need for regulators to come and finally put the pin on what's happening with AMC. Finally, some new info came out and exposed that George Santos actually traded AMC and GameStop during the peak of the squeeze. And there's a few other things that were exposed about him, like spending $400K on OnlyFans subscriptions, but we're not going to talk about that. Before we get into the charts, I want to talk about big banks closing their puts on AMC. Take a look. All November 15th, 14th, and the 13th, Jane Street Group, Wolverine Trading, Anson Funds, the list goes on and on, of big institutions closing their puts on AMC, which we have talked about AMC nearing its all-time low before potentially getting another rally. And before we get into the charts, I want to touch on some numbers. Short interest of free float, we're sitting at 9.78% according to Ortex. 2 million shares available to borrow on Stonko Tracker. 1,000 calls compared to 33,000 puts expiring in the money, so the gamma ramp is building to the downside. Plus, there is a ton of premium being lost and given to market makers for the people who are betting calls with the expiration of this week, as well as next week and the week after. Short exempts died down a little bit just because AMC's volume died down and we are nearing really low levels. So it went from 1 million to 500,000 to 200 to 155. We will see if that starts scaling even lower, but it's unlikely. It'll probably sit around 150. GameStop, 400,000 shares available to borrow. Call to put ratio, 3,000 compared to 13,000 expiring in the money. Call to puts, same goes for GameStop. Not looking good on the options chain, gamma building to the downside, and all this premium going to market makers that is being lost, especially expiring this week, over 80,000 call contracts. Another thing to note, they're not letting GameStop run. We have seen these spikes in short exempt volume on days that GameStop actually goes green, coming all the way up to 30,000, which is a lot for GameStop. Even 14,000 is a lot for GameStop. You can see that it usually sits between 1 to 5,000, and now we are 3, 4, 5xing that. Also, apparently AMC's intrinsic value value sits at $54.83 compared to the current market share of $7.89, which means it is 86% undervaluation. Now, we know exactly what AMC is worth and where the price sits based off of how many shareholders there are. The on-balance volume sits well above this level. But the fact is, AMC is extremely undervalued at $7, and it's time to touch on the charts. AMC trading at $7.44, up 0.68% on the day, tracking perfectly with what we have drawn out. There's not much to say here. Coming to scale down, find a new low, probably early February. This is the likely case scenario if it's put through another cycle, and this would also be the very last cycle unless it's pushed to zero and delisted. This cycle, we'd get a pop from the low around $2.50, coming all the way up to around $22.50. So it would be a decent pop in the charts. However, does this have to play out? No, there are a couple more scenarios that AMC could very well play out, especially with what's happening with XRP, Ethereum Classic, and the S&P 500. But I just want to give you this scenario because it tracks perfectly with the curve AMC has been on for the past 2 years. GameStop trading at $12.94, up 3% on the day, losing volume on this scale higher. Honestly, not looking too hot. 1335 and then 1460 would be break invalidations for GameStop, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think once we break back below $12.50, we're coming down to $10.10, maybe holding a little bit of that support right around $12.13, nearing the relative lows before breaking even lower, but I think GameStop will have a push lower pretty soon. Now, before we get into the S&P 500 and some additional stuff, if you guys want up to 16 free stocks, each valued up to $2,000 per stock, use my link, sign up for Mumu, and once you make it a positive, even $1, you will start earning benefits from there. Plus, you're earning 5% APY on your cash that is uninvested. So get those free stocks by making a deposit of any amount, sell those stocks, and let your account build up, courtesy of Mumu. No reason not to do so. It takes 2 minutes out of your day. Also, guys, if you want to join the Discord, the link is right under the video. Cheapest Discord on YouTube, best Discord on YouTube, $2 a month. And the value you get out of it is a lot greater than if you are not in. And trust me, if you're not in Discords, I don't blame you. I used to be the same way. However, I know you will not regret it. It'll probably change your trading experience and your experience in the market as a whole. Either way, I'm in there on the daily. Come hang out in Discord, make some money. Finally, Bank of America is telling clients to fade S&P 500 rally above 45.50, which is pretty interesting seeing that every single bank was wrong with their year-end SPY targets. Not one single bank estimated that the S&P 500 would be as high as it is right now, which, I mean, I can't really blame them, but why listen to them now and start fading the S&P 500? Speaking of the SPY, trading at 450.02, down 0.05% on the day, so basically sideways, holding support at 449, getting a little bit of a base off that, fighting resistance at that 451 level. Again, the next leg up is going to bring us to 455, and then a double top at 460 from the previous high on the SPY before, I think, personally getting a retracement, potentially back down to 440 or even 422.50. So just keep those levels in mind on the SPY. We are going to touch on that trade that we have been talking about, part 3 on the members only, as well as in Discord. So if you guys aren't a member or aren't in Discord, make sure to join because this trade's really about to kick off and get spicy. You guys know what I'm talking about. To close out the video, the Bank of Japan has just collapsed. The assets, bonds on their balance sheet are completely worthless. Fiat currency, the yen, is worthless. Is the Federal Reserve next? And will this trigger margin calls? Will this hurt collateral? You guys let me know in the comments down below. Also, a little sprinkle on top, Amazon will start selling cars on its website starting next year. Customers will be able to order and pay for the car directly on Amazon, and the car will be delivered to their house. I think this is pretty solid and a great expansion for Amazon. Overall, guys, that is what I got for you for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching or found value out of the video. Make sure to hit that like button on the way out, subscribe to the channel, get your free stocks, join the Discord, enjoy your weekend. I love you all. Lottery Stocks out.